You have got me. I am live in Spain. Let's have a look, waiting for a few people to come in. Total random live stream. Let's have a little look. Who's going to be first in? Whenever you do these lives, you have to wait about 2 or 3 minutes before people actually start to come into the chat. There we go. Costa del Spurs, oi oi. Carol, good evening. That's better, there you go. You're in. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to sunny Spain. It is, the weather's actually really nice. That's better, there you go. Thank you very much. 243 of you now in, so we can get going. Now, tonight, the chats are coming through pretty quick, so I'm going to have to pick and choose them as I see them. Kay, good evening. Lucy, Jennifer, Jack. Nice, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you in the chat. Great to meet you outside Waterloo Station the other day. Sovereign 757. Thank you very much. Kathy, good evening from Portugal. Jean, bonjour. So what am I doing in sunny Spain? Well, it's actually a bit chilly tonight, to be honest with you. As you can see, I've got the jacket on. Hi, Tony. But my daughter moves out here in the next few days. I'm here with my son-in-law, who is actually watching me on the telly. I can see him watching me on the telly in there. But I'm out here with my son-in-law, helping him. Leslie, Nick Tenconi. I want to speak about Nick Tenconi tonight. I'm always truthful, guys, right? I always try and be fair. I think I owe Nick Tenconi a bit of an apology, and I'm happy to do that publicly. Why do I owe Nick a bit of an apology? Because to be honest with you, no doubt Nick will get to see this. So in a way, I'm glad that I'm going to do it publicly rather than go to Nick first. That would be the easy thing to do, wouldn't it? To ring Nick up and, you know, tell him the things that perhaps he wants to hear. I'm going to tell you guys first. I owe Nick a bit of an apology. I think that Nick is talking a lot of sense. I think he's doing a lot of things right. I think that I misjudged Nick, if I'm honest. I think that what he says comes from the heart. And when I first listened to Nick speak, when I listened to him at the demo a few months back, it wasn't for me, if I'm honest with you. I consider myself to be a centrist in many respects. I'm not an extremist. Don't want to get involved with any extremism. And I wasn't overly impressed with Nick's body language. But what I have learnt about Nick since, from people that know him a lot better than me, bearing in mind I've only ever met the guy once, from memory, I think I judged him wrongly. I'm pleased to say that I had never said anything bad about him to anyone, in the respect that, you know, I always say, if you haven't got anything good to say about someone, don't say anything at all. So I've avoided the UKIP question and the Nick Tenconi question. But Nick, if you do get to watch this, I think you're doing a great job, and I think that you deserve support. And I think that, yeah, I think I misjudged you in a lot of ways. Not in a nasty way as such, you know, but I thought you was wasting your time, if I'm honest. Having said that, now, having watched you a lot more, starting off with the interview that Nick did with my good friend Liam Tufts, I've got a lot of respect for Liam. Liam is a top guy. And I spoke to Liam afterwards. I said, how did you find Nick? He went, Paul, very good. That meant a lot to me. And then there's another guy who I respect immensely, who I won't name, spoke to me about Nick and said, Paul, you know, Nick's a good guy, right? Jill says she got a notification for a change. Brilliant. So, Nick, yeah, if you do get to watch this, mate, you know, I owe you an apology for not getting you onto my channel a bit sooner and perhaps not understanding your enthusiasm or taking your enthusiasm the wrong way. Good evening, Paul. Buenas noches, amigo. Roscoe, yes, I am very well, thank you. 15, where are we? Let's have a look. No, 1,100 people watching. This is only live tonight on YouTube, not on X or Facebook, so numbers will be down. Jack says, we need to get behind Reform UK and UKIP. Personally, think there should be a merger between the two. Do you know what? I think that UKIP can be, in some respects, what I wanted Reform to be. Look, I think Reform, just my opinion, I think that Reform obviously are our best chance of having made success at the next general election. But what I do believe is that someone like Nick doing a good job and speaking the truth, very bravely. I want to commend Nick for his bravery. What he does takes a lot of bravery, believe me. But I think Nick and UKIP can act as a, what can I say, keep Reform in check, if you like. He's passionate like Tommy. Yeah, absolutely, I get that. I think with Nick, it was the body language that I didn't appreciate. But I've got to understand everyone's different. And the things that I'm hearing from people that I respect are good. Let me just go back. Glad to see you smile, Paul. You are wrong, Paul. Sorry, Reform all the way. Yeah, John, look, I'm not saying that I'm suddenly putting all my support, which doesn't mean anything anyway. I mean, it's who you guys support that counts. But what I'm saying is that Nick and UKIP, but Nick in particular, is due more respect, or due more coverage, should I say, not respect, but due more coverage than I've been giving them. And I think that Nick is doing a great job. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first. I think that Nick deserves that. Rupert Lowe over all of them. Look, it's about credibility, isn't it? You know, Rupert Lowe has so much credibility. Nick and Tommy would make a fantastic team. We have to remember, as much as we love Tommy, is he electable? The answer to that is very unlikely. And the reason it's unlikely, I mean, let's suppose that UKIP, let's just play a game. Let's just say Tommy joined UKIP and UKIP put Tommy up for election as one of their candidates. It doesn't matter where you put him, anywhere in the country. You could put him in the most electable seat of all. And what would happen is that all the other parties would come together to make sure they didn't win. It wouldn't be a fair playing field. They would make sure of that. But Matthew Davis, Ben, alongside Nick and the pledge members would be, yeah, I mean, this is what we need. Maybe UKIP could be rebranded. There are so many problems with UKIP. I mean, it's a brand that has in some ways been tarnished. It's now a brand that a lot of people, not necessarily you and I, because we're all switched on, right? We watch the news, we keep up with what's going on. And we know the score, right? But the average person out there is kind of maybe looking past UKIP now, looking at them as old hat. Hunter, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So that might be problematic for them. So like I said, look, I've watched Nick's appearance earlier on with Dan Wootton. I watched him with Liam, and I think it's time that I gave him the respect of saying, Nick, I think you've been brilliant recently. That's all, you know, I can't say any fairer than that. But I hope you respect, as my viewers, thanks, Maxie, I'm feeling brighter, getting out the bloody UK, right? Only for a few days, I'm back Thursday. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just think that Nick deserves the mention, and the fact that I hope you respect that I've waited this time to make sure that I want to say what I'm saying now. Mish C, any update on Tommy's isolation? Are his legal team making progress? I cannot speak about that. I'm not part of Tommy's internal team. I do know that there are things happening, but that will be for Tommy for release, for Tommy's team to release, not for me. Let's have a little look at some of these chat. What's done is done. We'll come back to haunt now, Nigel, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've read some messages today. I've been busy all day. I've read some messages that Nigel had something very bad to say today, but that was also retracted, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Not quite sure what's going on. Christy says, if you keep changing your heading, it weakens the brand. Greenfields, Nick's a great bloke, but I don't think UKIP has the momentum like Reform. Look, Greenfields, that's exactly right. I mean, they don't, let's be honest. They don't have the momentum. And then obviously there is a possibility, Christine Paul smile again. Honestly, I am capable of smiling. I had the ump last week. Tice is finished. Shane and John podcast, how you doing? Sue Curtin, how you doing, Sue? Let's have a little look here. What is this? Stephen Morrison. You vote UKIP and you get red or blue. It's a simple choice. That is the issue. You see, I see UKIP's role at the moment as to be snapping at the heels of Reform and saying, if you don't do this right, we will, and we'll take your votes. Davey, thank you very much. Baraka just put a video out on YouTube. Groomer caught in back of Uber taxi. Must share it wide. Thank you very much for that. Matthew, how can we politicise our movement? Well, we kind of have politicised it a bit, haven't we? We've got the pledge, and we now have the Great British Pack that Ben Habib is headlining. So much respect for Ben, but when we look at the good guys that we have around now doing the job, we have Ben Habib, we have Rupert Lowe doing a great job, we've got Nick Tenconi, we've got all the peripheral people that are around, all the people that are going to be behind Ben. Thank you, Hunter, appreciate that. Scott, I don't blame you for being away, Paul. Do you know what? I think I needed this few days. I mean, I haven't even brought my wife out. I'm just here on my own with my son-in-law, and he's got a friend here as well that's helping him move. But tomorrow, he's picking up a camper van, then going back to the UK, then picking up my daughter and driving all the way back with their animals. So it's going to be another week for them. Let's have a little look. Maureen says, was listening to Nick Tenconi, quite impressed. I like Ben and Rupert as well. Absolutely, we've got some good guys around. What we just need is we need people to start finding their spine, don't we? Divergent Pie, rebrand UKIP, thank you by the way. Proportional representation in Scottish elections. Hope you're keeping well, Paul. Mark Tunnicliffe, independent candidate. Falkirk, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Corrine, how is Richard doing? Do you know what? I messaged Richard a couple of days back, and I just sent him a message that said, Rich, I know what you're going through. just to let you know that I'm here if you want me. If you need anything, give us a call. But for now, I'm just going to leave you alone. You know, he's grieving. He's got things to sort out. So I'm just, you know, leaving him alone. But he's okay. Paul in Leanderson makes me laugh. Yeah, he's a bit... let's have a little look here. All Empyrean, Paul Thorpe, flip-flopper. Do you know what it is? I tell you what it is with me is that I reassess my standing every day. Every day I reassess what I like, what I don't like. There's nothing wrong with that. We haven't got any major decision to make tomorrow, have we? There's no general election. So I can like whoever I like. And if I don't like them next week because of something they said, then that's the way it is. What really counts will be in the last 6 to 12 months before the next general election. Then we really have to start making our mind up, don't we? That's right. You have to reassess, John. You've got to reassess. I mean, for an example, I've reassessed Nick Tenconi for what that's worth. I mean, who am I to reassess Nick Tenconi? Nick Tenconi is the leader of UKIP. But from a personal viewpoint, I've been assessing who I want to talk about, who I want to support. I've always wanted to support reform, but they have been disappointing. Hence, I've been, Paul, we love it when you're happy. Oh, bless you. Thanks, Christine. Blackheart, not bad. You admit when you were wrong about something. Look, I think that's really important. One of the very first things that my dad taught me when I was younger, when I was a kid, he said to me, Paul, if you can admit when you're wrong, you'll be a better man. And I've tried to remember that all of my life, because if you don't admit when you're wrong, you never learn anything, right? And I like it when people prove me wrong, because it means I've learned something. I've told you this before. But I think Nick is doing really, really well. And he's growing on me. My respect for him has risen a lot. And I think it's only fair to say it out loud. That's not to say that all of a sudden I'm going to be, you know, fighting UKIP's corner, but I think he's a man to keep our eyes on. Definitely. Let's have a little look here at some of the chat. Smart dad I did, bless him, he was the best. Paul, this lighting is working for you, you're glowing, full of vigour. It's actually a little light ring, so yeah, it's not too horrible, is it? Single mutt, may God bless you and yours, take care, thank you so much, really appreciate that. Come on, Paul, get your gloves on. It's actually really nice. I mean, it's like it was freezing when I left the UK yesterday. Freezing. Yeah, I'd recommend watching Liam Tuff's podcast with Nick Tenconi. That was a bit of a turning point for me. Crazy Jake UK, Paul, I'm thinking of running as candidate for reform in London. I mean, look, someone else that I know has just a couple of people actually have just resigned from reform. One of them sent me a video. I haven't got permission to play that video yet. If he gives me permission, I'll play it. He's quite a high profile person in reform, very well respected. And he's just made a resignation video for the same reasons that we've seen in recent weeks. And this is a concern. And the gist of his message was he wanted to join, or he wanted to be a party that gave us real reform. And what he sees coming into the Reform Party are too many ex-Tories. That is a problem. How many of you now that are supporting reform, and that's kind of me included in many ways, do we want the Tory party Mark II? No, we don't. I'm sure you don't as much as I don't. So hopefully they go down more the Rupert Lowe path than the Nigel path. But we'll see. Yeah, Richard's mum passed away, so hence, you know, I've left him alone, and when he's ready, he'll come. You know, he'll come back. But we're all thinking about him, obviously. A couple of other things that have been bothering me. I think Elon's been a bit quiet, hasn't he? I've been keeping my eye on his ex-posts. Doesn't seem to have been a lot going on as far as Tommy's concerned, but having said that, obviously Elon Musk is someone's just put an address in the chat there. I don't know what that's for, but please do not put addresses in the chat for whatever reason. I'm going to remove that. Do not put addresses in the chat. It is not a good idea. Leslie says Nigel is pandering. Joanne says thinking of Richard and his family. Yeah, God bless Richard. Yeah, I mean, is Nigel pandering? I don't know. He's confusing me right now. Is he playing the long game? Is he being very sensible? Is he being, I mean, if you listen to June, who I respect, June Slater, if you listen to June thinks he's playing the long game, making sure he's trying to say the right things, etc., etc. I'm not sure. I think Nigel, personally, I think is a bit weak. Someone just saying Nigel's biding his time. Could well be. We just don't know, do we? Nobody really knows. Yeah, we don't want any addresses of anyone. Turtle Dove, you need moderators. I normally have got mods in. They should be in. Hopefully they are. But just remember, anyone putting anything in the chat that is going to turn out to be illegal, they will find you, so be careful. Leroy from Fame. Greetings from MAGA in the USA, up the Fulham. There you go. Does your butler know you're here? Bring back Michael Jackson statue. Elon is busy with... Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Doris says, I can't listen to June. Can't please everyone, I suppose. Becky, I think it would be great if Ben, Rupert, and the others that have left Reform set up their own party. Mark says Trump is not joking, he means business when to hand back hostages. Johnny Babylon, Nigel knows. Do you know what? He's either super smart, or he's not very bright, and I still can't work it out which one it is. I really still can't work out which one it is. I've never met the guy, but I have no idea. KB, hi Paul, just to let you know, I reported a fake account in your name yesterday. He was asking me to reply to an international number via a private message. I reported it straight away. Love to Richard. Yeah, thanks for that, KB. If you see anyone pretending to be me in the chat, asking you to Telegram or WhatsApp, just ignore them. They're fake, phony spam accounts. Tay, why can't the right unite? I have the answer to that, Tay, sorry. I have the answer to that. The right finds it hard to unite because we believe, in general, I think we believe. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate that. 1 second, I can't actually see what it says. But thank you, Gary. Really appreciate that, mate. People on the right tend to stand up for their principles a lot more than people on the left. People on the left, I tend to find, This is why you get the unholy alliances of the pro-Hamas supporters with the LGBT plus Q, whatever they are, becoming friends and sticking together, when in truth they couldn't be further apart, but they're happy to work together. Whereas on the right, people will go, well, that's not quite what I believe in, so I'm not going to go along with that. They're more principled. They'll stick with their principles. Whereas I think people on the left are more prepared to forgive their principles, if they've got any in the first place, to become, yeah, John, the blue hair mob, exactly. They'll do anything to ruin lives. Jack, the right must unite no matter how hard it is. Do you know, I don't even think it's the right, it's everyone from the centre onwards, isn't it? Yes, I'm on a balcony, yeah. Jane Marvel, any news on Tommy having visitors again? Certainly I'm banned, Richard's banned, Liam's banned, anyone with a platform is banned. Reform needs to vote for Lowe as leader, John. The trouble is, John, there is no voting, is there? Because that's another problem with Reform right now, although they say they're democratising the party. We're not fully democratised yet, where we can potentially, members can potentially vote for a new leader. Gary Webster says, Paul, I know what you say about doing things peacefully, and in an ideal world, that's what we want. But the truth is, we will solve nothing by singing YMCA and being happy. Look, I'll go along with that to some degree, but that doesn't mean to say that people would have to misbehave or do things legally. Look, just this week, for the first time ever in my life, I have cancelled my council tax payments. Our election has been denied to us, so I've cancelled my payments. But what I've also done is I've told the council that I will pay. I'm not going to break the law, because it would be breaking the law and they will come after you. And I don't see any mileage in that for me as a person. What I've told the council is that I will be paying, but for the moment, I'm withholding that. So there are other ways that we can go down, other routes that we can go down. Yagadrol, if UKIP get millions of pounds from Musk, things could change. Otherwise, voting UKIP will just give Labour 10 years. I don't see Elon Musk giving UKIP money, my own personal view. Yeah, hit the like button for me, guys, please. That would be very useful. Thank you very much. Third fish, UKIP have no chance. Yeah, look, I have to go along with that. You know, I don't see any other party now breaking in. I mean, look how difficult it's been for Reform, and it has been difficult for them. Look how the media have gone after Reform. Imagine what they will try to do to UKIP. And they will do to UKIP whatever they fancy doing when they feel the time is right. That's the bottom line. Yeah, there are different areas of opinion when it comes to, do you have to pay your council tax? The bottom line at the end of the day is, I just don't want the ag, right? I don't want the aggro. And one person refusing to pay their council tax is not going to change the world. But it's just my way of saying to them, you know what? You're going to deny us our election. I'm going to deny you my council tax. The chat's coming through thick and fast. Thank you, Matt Black. Paul, how do you continue to keep that strong relationship with your daughters and grandchildren now that they live abroad? I always have a fear that my kids move abroad one day. Thank you. Well, they haven't moved yet, so, you know, that's going to be the hard part. I'm here in Spain now just to give my son-in-law a hand, move a few bits around and, you know, just help him in and then she'll be following next week. My other daughter, I'm not quite sure when she's going, but they're going to Abu Dhabi. Rafe Mole, UKIP is a wasted vote. All UKIP supporters should vote reform if they want this government out. Anything else will be just helping Labour. That's the problem for me. That's the problem. It's not about supporting Nick or liking Nick or disliking him, agreeing with him or disagreeing with him. It's all about winning the next general election and how we're going to do that. RJ, how did you find yourself inside Tommy's tight and trusted circle, Paul? I'm not sure that I am, to be fair. I mean, I hope he trusts me. I hope his team trusts me. But I don't consider myself to be a part of the tight inner circle at all. But whoever you deal with, my philosophy is you deal with people with as much respect as you can, and hopefully they will recognise that and respect it. James, best Spanish food. I'm not really into Spanish food that much, to be honest. Turtle Dove says, the thing is, if we all support UKIP instead of Farage, they will grow quickly. I'm not sure that's right. I'm not sure there's enough of us, to be honest. So many people are just still politically wholly uneducated. How you doing, Lee? Nigel's always hated Tommy. I think he has, yeah. BBC News sticking up for Hamas. I haven't seen it, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Valerie, I'm voting reform. They're our only chance. I think that's, look, you know, like I said, the good news is, it doesn't matter, well, I say the good news and the bad news. There ain't a general election coming up anytime soon. So at the moment, it's all just conjecture, innit? Thank you, Gareth. Appreciate that. Hope I haven't missed any supers tonight. Becky, Paul, you're such an inspiration to so many people. You just need to give yourself the credit you deserve. We love you. Becky, thank you so much for that. That's really nice of you to say. I honestly don't know why, but thank you so much. Reform have seats and gaining more. That's the thing. I mean, look at them now. They're actually in front, right? They're in the lead. They're in the lead in the polls. They're out in front. That is immense. And that is massive. And whether I like Nigel Farage or not, what we've got to understand is the bigger picture counts, right? It's who would you rather have sitting on that front bench? People like Rupert Lowe, right, would do for me, even if I didn't like the leader. And I'm not his biggest fan, as you all know. Even if you didn't like the leader, you got to look at his bench and go, wow, I like that. You would like it. You would like Nigel Farage's bench, his front bench. You would definitely like it. And who knows who he will bring in later on. Nick Tenconi with Rupert Lowe, dream team, yeah. Well, you know, like I said, Nick has been talking a great game. And I think you got to give... I like to give people credit. If I don't like to talk badly about people, I don't like doing that. But if someone is doing well, then I think they deserve credit. Leslie, I don't trust reform now. I just don't. Unfortunately, there are so many people like that. I think what a lot of people don't get to see, that I perhaps do, is the amount of people, good, solid people, really good people, salt of the earth people, that have left reform because they feel they've been treated badly and they've been like just passed over for ex-Tories or former Tories. And that's not a good look or feel. What they may know that we don't, because we're not in politics as much as they are, obviously. Nigel's been in politics for many, many years. Thank you, Christine. That's really lovely. Nigel may be the clever one here. He might be sitting back thinking, well, you know what? We don't need these guys. We can win a general election without them. And he may be right. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Gizme. Warhawk, our country is done for, sorry to say, so sad. I'm not going to go along with that. I'll tell you why, because I'm not going to give in. I don't think any of us should give in. We fight for what we love. But I will say this, unless we win the next general election, when I say we, I mean the British people, the real genuine British people that love their country, and that could be you could be any colour, race or religion. You can love our country. That's what we want. We want people to love our country. Unless we win out the next general election, then I think that will be the end. I think that's it. Gone. I think we'd be finished. I don't think there'd be any. If things go the way they have been in our country over the last few years, if that continued for the next 4 years and then we had another Labour government, oh my God, then, you know, it's over, innit? Links Minks, Tenconi needs to learn diplomacy. Yeah, look, nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. And I'm not saying tonight that I'm suddenly Nick Tenconi's biggest fan. I think Nick has his faults, his pluses and his minuses. But then, who doesn't? Which political leader doesn't? Nigel Farage has his good and his bad points. I'm sure that Kemi Badenoch has her good and bad points. I'm sure that Robert Jenrick has his good and bad points. We all know that Keir Starmer has bad points and even worse points, and that's about it. But I think Nick's a young man, you know, is for a politician, he's young. He will learn, I guess. SOS Kings, Paul, this country won't last another 4 years. People need to put a stop to it and show them we will not tolerate any more. Good evening, Lizzie. I think what is going to happen is that I hope you can hear me all right, by the way. 3,000 people now watching. Guys, please give me a thumbs up. That would really help with a video. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Do that right now before we go any further. Tenconi, when he speaks, he doesn't sound natural. This is the thing. It's difficult for you. You cannot please all the people all the time. You know, any one of us YouTubers, you could go down the road and you could ask 100 people, what do you think of Paul or Mayor Toosey? 50 will say they love, 50 will say they hate. It's very, very difficult as a politician. Very, very difficult. Carol, Paul, I've been praying you for today. Oh, thank you, Carol. I feel your pain, Patriot. God bless you all. God bless all of you who struggle. Thank you so much, Carol. That's lovely. But going back to what I was going to say, I think what will happen is that this, almost you would call it a fashion, if you like, this bizarre fashion that we've been going through for the last few years, this woke disease. I think we're at the turning point, or we're coming to the crucial turning point where the vast majority of the nation just all of a sudden goes, you know what, that's it, we've had enough, things have got to change. Even I now, you know, the average man in the street will go, even I now, I'm seeing that this is completely getting out of hand. And I think that's where, to be honest, I think that's where reform are picking up so well. But we haven't got to make our minds up, have we? You know, someone earlier on said about flip-flopping. Doesn't matter, does it? We can flip-flop all we like. Because we ain't voting for no one at the moment. Michael G, I just came on, Paul. Yeah, reform hopefully to halt the decline of the UK in the next election, but think a more stronger leader after that to stabilise the UK. Davey Seven, get up off your asses and vote. Absolutely. Did a video the other day. I know most of you have seen it. 10 things that you can do to help win back our country. I hope that every single one of you now watching this has registered to vote. There's a couple of super chats I think have gone flying through. I hope I haven't missed them. Jenny, thank you, Jenny. You do so much, Paul. You deserve to chill. Thank you. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Stephanie Quinn is new to the show. Stephanie, welcome. Nigel, is that a little Spanish greeting there? Yeah, I won't be able to read it though, mate. I've got to get myself some Spanish lessons, I think, looking at the chat tonight. YouTube monitors, yeah, Paul, we're the flip-floppers. We can flip-flop all we like, can't we, for the next, 4 years? Until the next general election, or until the next general election. When we know there's an election coming, or there's 6 to 8 months, then the real serious stuff starts, right? That's when the real serious stuff starts, and we need to start coming to a decision. But by then, hopefully Ben Habib's Great British Pack will be in full swing. I hope that the pledge will have picked up even more numbers. The pledge has had a bit of a push in the last few days, I believe, and the numbers are growing really nicely. Both of those things are a must. The only way is for everyone to stop paying council tax. They can't do anything. I mean, I will say, you know, when people talk about the next step, right? What is the next step? Because we're kind of learning that we can't comply our way out of anything at the moment, can we? Because Starmer just doesn't listen to anything. I think the next step is for strikes, perhaps. She's not moved yet, my daughter. She's moving out here very, very soon. That's why I'm in Spain, preparing a few things, helping prepare a few things. Thank you for asking. I think the next stage is maybe people might start striking. People are going to stop paying whatever. That will maybe cause Labour more of a problem. I saw the farmers' demo in London yesterday. If I hadn't have been travelling to Spain, I would have been there. Let's have a look. Alex, Paul, do you think that it's important to put pressure on Farage in order to get what is necessary, or do you think Farage will pull through in the end? I think he needs pressure. I really do. I think he needs pressure. Having said that, you know, the things that Rupert Lowe says, I cannot imagine that Rupert Lowe says those things without Nigel's approval. So we don't know, do we? It's a mystery. We don't know. We just don't know. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Will Fox. Blue Sky, Nick Tenconi, brilliant today on Dan Wootton. Absolutely, he was. What does this button do? I'm sick to death of seeing Farage's smug face when he just lies. Yeah, I get that at times. Third Fish, people are too compliant after they were threatened with jail. Absolutely. I mean, I understand that as well. Yeah, that's a good, I like that. I like that. C1 Enbo, Rupert Lowe and Farage paying good cop, bad cop. Could be. Could be. Nick Tenconi with Rupert Lowe, Dream Team. Don't forget our Ben Habib. Joanne says, I've not registered to vote, comes through automatically. In that case, Joanne, you are kind of registered, you're on there, you're on the electoral register. But a lot of people are not. Debbie, why can farmers protest, no arrest, but you all can't protest for Tommy? Yeah, that's the only thing that I'll say about the farming, not the community as such, but the farmers protest. You know, I'd like to see them being a bit more reciprocal with us, because obviously we're pretty much all on the same side, I think. Poppy Red, I've flip-flopped, no doubt will do so many times over the next 4 years. Yeah, I think anyone that accuses me of flip-flopping needs to understand that, look, I'm running a YouTube channel here, I'm running a show. It's my job to talk about different topics and different possibilities, and for you guys to agree or disagree. I can only talk from the heart, you know. Stephen says, Ben Habib, yeah, absolutely, Ben. Elaine says, I don't like Nigel Farage. I wouldn't vote for him, he's two-faced. Here's the thing, Elaine, I get that. I totally get that. But would we look at voting for reform with Nigel in charge? Because we're looking at the bigger picture, right? It's, for me, it's his bench, his front bench is what counts. Free Tommy Robinson, political prisoner. Absolutely. Tommy for king. Thanks, Valerie. Appreciate that. Look, I just think out loud when I'm rabbing away to my screen here. I've got 3,000 people watching, and I just think out loud. Nigel is not the man for reform, Alan. Which, you know, playing devil's advocate, Alan, he's got them to where they are now, and they're ahead in the polls. But I agree with you. I think Nigel would be I think, was it Joseph Robertson that said the other night? It might have been Joseph, I think it was, that said that Nigel's best position, from my point of view, would to be their campaign leader, to be their PR man, if you like, and not necessarily their political leader. I'd like to see, yeah, SW saying Nigel's a showman. He is. Tearjerker says Paul Thorpe should put his money where his mouth is and get into politics. Well, I tell you what, I'll do a deal with you to firm up our own political party. You'd need about 2 or 3 million quid. Anyone that fancies donating and we're set up our own political party, 2 or 3 million quid, we're up and running. As for, you know, standing in politics, I could stand as an independent, but, you know, it's meaningless. What would it achieve? I would love to have potentially stood for reform, potentially, but they wouldn't have me. So Marie Evans, hi Paul. Being female, I found Nick Tenconi a bit too much on the religious for my liking. I enjoy listening to Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. Single malt, don't buy a Mondeo from Farage. Right to Elon, they'll give you 2 or 3 million. I mean, that's the bottom line, isn't it? I mean, we've got a party now. We've got a party with 5 MPs that are leading in the polls. I mean, wow, that is pretty good, right? So we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic. Claire, we don't want religious nuts. No, we don't want religious nuts. But I think Nick's point is, and I think it's a very important one, is that whether you're religious or not, and I've never really considered myself particularly religious, but what I've discovered since I've sort of joined this movement, if you like, and talking to so many people, I've discovered that I was far more of a cultural Christian than I ever realised myself. What does that mean? Well, I was brought up with Christian values. And I do think that we need a return to Christian values in our country, even if we don't necessarily we're consciously aware that we're actually doing that. Many of us, I think, are cultural Christians without actually realising that we are. Jay Marvel, thank you. Is Elon still supporting Tommy financially? I believe so. Yeah, so going back to the cultural Christian side, I think many of us carry out our lives on a daily basis in a Christian way, without actually realising that we are reenacting, or we are, what's the right word? We're carrying out our lives in a Christian, excuse me, in a Christian type way, the way our parents brought us up. And I think we need a return to that. Our children could certainly, our youth of today could certainly do well to return to that. I never really considered religion, to be honest with you. Yeah, many of us have Christian values, yeah. That's been instilled in us since school, assemblies, yeah. I mean, we sang hymns when I was at school, and we was taught to love thy neighbour and all those things. Single mutt the Romasian. Faith doesn't need religion to exist. A man of faith is not necessarily religious. I think that's true. Thank you very much for that. Edward, I'm a born-again atheist. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the super chat that I just read out there was a really good point. You don't have to necessarily be religious, as in, like, you know, sitting there praying, going to church or mosque or whatever religion you follow. You don't necessarily have to be religious to carry out the beliefs that you were brought up with, in my case, Christian beliefs. But I wouldn't class myself as religious. Michael, yeah, assembly every morning in school, then a carton of milk. They were the days. Do you know what? I used to dread that. The milk, oh my God, it always tasted like it was bloody half off, and it was always warm as well. Ugh. Those were the days, yeah. Vinnie King, Nick T, great ideas, but no charisma. Too thuggish. This is what I mean. You can't please everyone, you see. That is the problem. Trying to please everyone is bloody impossible. Thatcher the milk snatcher. The memories. God, I wish you'd have snatched mine. Are you where they filmed Auf Wiedersehen Pet 2? No, I'm not, no. Auf Wiedersehen Pet. If any of you guys have not watched Auf Wiedersehen Pet, you lucky buggers, because that means you can start right from episode 1 of series 1 and go all the way through, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Tenconi, well, it sounds like he could be a bit Italian. I don't know what Nick's background is. How's the Spanish food? Look, come on, this is Spain. This is full English breakfast and all the rest of it, isn't it? I find the Spanish people really nice. I always try and greet them in Spanish and, you know, use little Spanish phrases as much as I can. And I find that they respond to that well, and they normally speak English. But if you try and speak a bit of Spanish at least, you know, it's good. We got a biscuit with our milk. No, we didn't get a biscuit, funnily enough. KCH, my milk was always cold. Used to look forward to that every day. No, my ours was always bloody warm. Ugh. I reckon they used to leave it out in the sun. Rosalind said, Nick has a very strong message which will certainly appeal to some. It will. To some it will appeal to others. You know, for me personally, when I sort of very first came across Nick, it was a little bit strong for me. The body language wasn't perhaps ideal, but I'm trying to look. You have to give people a chance, right? You have to act. You have to judge people as you find them. And Nick has grown on me because I think that he's so passionate, and I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Fiona, same age as me. Farage bashing is very depressing. I don't think there's been a lot of Farage bashing tonight, just general chat. I think one of the reasons Surf's up, I think one of the reasons that Nigel gets a bit of a, you know, bit of a going over here and there, is for his own fault, unfortunately. James Arnold, Paul, did you see what our deputy leader was wearing today? I didn't know. Tell me, what was it? Hugh says, Paul, I was brought up poor. Free milk was a luxury. I had the same shoes with cardboard in the sole. Wow. Nick's aware of the ticking clock. Mel, that is true. And there is a ticking clock, isn't there? Turtle Dove, the British are so conservative and will not accept anyone out of the norm. Time to open your eyes and take the chance. Here's a funny thing, you say that, but you're so right, but we're not conservative when it comes to accepting people that shouldn't bloody be here. It seems that we can accept them, but we're dead scared of accepting anything different from a political viewpoint. If you haven't already hit that upvote button, ladies and gents, please do so for me. Oh, don't talk to me about chicken nuggets. I saw that yesterday before I left. Absolutely insanity. Insane. Watching from Brazil. Hey, how you doing, mate? Sold out. Jeremy Corbyn heart. Oh my God. No, not Jeremy Corbyn. Susan, late, sorry. Orange bowls off the milkman. Yeah, I remember that. Same, yeah, I remember that. Mark, have you met up with Charlie Mullins yet? Dino Rod Stewart in Spain? No, I haven't, no. You wouldn't miss him though, would you? John, thank you. I'll try and get round to watching that. I'm very busy for the next couple of days, just helping move stuff around. And then on Thursday, I'm on my way back home. And then Saturday morning, I will be winging my way to Swansea to meet the guys and girls from the Voice of Wales. We are going to Wales to show some love to our brothers and sisters down there. How is Richard holding up? He's okay. I mean, I haven't spoken to him in person. I just want to leave him alone. And when he's ready, he'll make contact. Oh, look, there's a nice Wally in the chat. Procrastinating Womble. Oh, dear. Dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. To think that you come on here this time of night and waste your breath. I'm laughing at you. Never mind. Thanks for that. Funny. Where in Swansea? I don't know. Swansea, I don't know how big it is. I've never been to Swansea before. Welsh lad, I'm from Swansea, Paul. Might see you there, hopefully. Yvonne, when is the next rally? Don't know, Yvonne. I think, you know, a lot of things are up in the air right now. What we got to do, we got to wait and see. We got to make sure that, you know, as I always say, everything's done properly. Otherwise, you know, it could lead to problems for you, for those attending, and we don't want that. Colin, come 2029 general election, we just need to get out. We just need arses, what gets rid of woke lefties, no matter what the party. Yeah. For Stifno says, Paul, mate, I'd vote for you. You know, the trouble is I'd need you all in one constituency, wouldn't I? Yeah, I'd need you all in one constituency, which would obviously be impossible. Swansea's amazing, Paul. You'll have a great time. Hopefully. Would I consider running for as a candidate if the chance arose? Psychic hamster. I would never say never, but I don't think it's going to be for me. I think I'm probably past my best in the respect where I think you've got to be really, really, if you're going to do your best, you've got to be really mentally sharp. And I think, you know, you're probably at your best in your 40s, I reckon, in your 40s, in your early 50s. That's when you're really nailed on. Marco says he misses the Watch channel. Well, unfortunately, we've got bigger fish to fry, haven't we? Your Bobby's TV World, thank you, mate. Yeah, Nick with Liam was epic, yeah. I would never say never, but I doubt it, because I just don't think that opportunity would arise. Let me just remove that. Hayley Hamilton, Nick comes across too aggressive in my humble opinion. There's not many people I do trust, but I trust Paul, Tommy, Richard, Dan, and Ben, plus Maya, of course, and Jeff Taylor. Thank you. Yeah, I know Rupert's older than me. Yeah, he is, yeah. I just wish, if this was 20 years ago, I think I could have made a real go at this. Because when I do something, I do it. I give it my everything. I give it all. My heart, my soul, my head. Every minute of the day, I'm happy to give it to it. At this time of life, there are other things I want to give my time to, like my grandchildren. Jeff's great. Yeah, Jeff is brilliant. See, I'd like to see Jeff. I would love to see Jeff as an MP. I can't think of anyone better than Jeff to be an MP. I'd love to see Jeff standing for Parliament. I really, really do think that Jeff would be amazing. Have you heard from Danny Tomo, Paul? I haven't, no. Thank you very much for that. This is a great stream. Paul speaks effortlessly. Well, I'm speaking to friends, mostly. Not all, but mostly. What's that? Let's have a little look. The traditional bricklayer got stood down from UKIP today. Wonder what that, you have to let me know what that's about. Esther, Paul, another time, another place. Bless you. Thank you very much. Mel role, Paul, a mentoring role within a party to engage with the youngsters. Most of us here are around the 60 mark. Do you know what I'd be really interested in doing? I'd love to help kids turn their lives around, get these bloody knives off the street, stop killing each other. So many of the young black kids in particular, you know, stabbing each other, getting into trouble, spending half their life in nick. Wouldn't it be lovely to turn some of those lives around? And, you know, not just the black lads. I mean, some of the young white lads are at it as well. They're all at it, aren't they? But wouldn't it be nice to turn those young lives around, show them what can actually be achieved by people that went to a school on a council estate, right? And especially in today's world, when we got social media, they got so many opportunities. So many opportunities that we never had. We never had social media. We never had the internet when we was younger. If I wanted to reach 100 of my customers, I had to write 100 bloody letters or go and get them photocopied and stick them all in the post box. Paul says, Paul Thorpe, how do you think Fulham are doing this season? For me, not bad. I'm really pleased with how they're doing. Jeff would be an amazing MP. SAFC Tom, Paul, boxing gyms seem to be successful. Would you open up a boxing gym? I personally wouldn't open up a boxing gym, but I would like to see more boxing gyms opening up for kids. I don't think our kids get a good crack at the whip in the UK. There's not enough for them to do. I know that's an old one. There's not enough for kids to do. Look, we didn't have a great deal to do, but we didn't go out, you know, doing dodgy stuff all the time. But there's definitely not enough these days to keep the kids off the streets, give them something to aspire to. More than anything, give them somebody to look up to and to understand. Pauline Pace, thank you so much. I am voting reform, but will never trust Nigel or Tice. Just my gut talking. Pauline, that's pretty much where I am right now, to be honest with you. At the moment, but I might flip-flop. Bernadette says, I worry so much for my children's future in this generation. Bernadette, me and you both. You know, because they are our future, right? We're just part of that circle of life, aren't we? And it's, you know, our parents worried about us, now it's our turn to worry about them. Or our children. But it ain't getting any easier. Someone suggesting, where are we? Stephen Jackson, national service compulsory. Yeah, Do we have the right people to keep them in line? Can you imagine half of today's youth having to serve national service? Wow. Deborah Home, Paul, I'm in Australia. I follow you. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, that would, you'd soon see them kicking up a fuss then, wouldn't you? Yeah. Rose, thank you, sweetheart. I would love to invite you and the missus to my white flight town on the May festival and enjoy Little England. You wouldn't want to run to Spain. Thank you, Rose. I'm not running to Spain, Rose. I'm helping my daughter run to Spain. But I must admit, I do like it here. I like it a lot. Last year, when I first started talking about politics, I came to Spain and everyone accused me of running to Spain. Well, Paul's done a runner, he's on the run to Spain. Look, before you guys knew me, I was already coming to Spain 5-6 times a year. I live close to Gatwick. Is a funny thing. Is a really funny thing. I flew to Spain, right? Get this. I flew to Spain on an aircraft, obviously, for less than the price of that ticket to go on the London Eye. Sapphire Suz, thank you, Paul. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I mean that's how cheap it is for me. So I just pick up my phone, pick up my app, I go through the dates. Right, Spain, 35 quid, 45 quid return on the way back. Sorry, so less than 100 quid return. Can't argue with that. Links Manx says, Barn Paul, OFC Nigel approves what Rupert is saying on everything, including Tommy. That is, yeah, that is one way of looking at it. British born and bred. Hello, Paul, my brother. Have a good one. Thank you very much. Right, guys, I am an hour in front of you, obviously, out here in Spain. So I'm going to wrap it up and call it a night. I promised you I'll be going live whilst I'm out here. I hope to do another one, but we've got a lot of work to get through. Well, Slab, well, that's cheap, Paul. Yeah, it's dead cheap flying from Gatwick to... And I had 3 seats to myself coming out here as well. Beat that. 3 seats to myself. £35. Cheap. I am going to love you and leave you all. Before you go tonight, please give me a thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. I have 2,265 thumbs up at this moment. Can you get me up to 2,500 really quickly? Would really appreciate that if you do. Thank you so much. Love to you all. And I will see you all, God willing, very soon. Have a lovely evening. Rest of your evening. I'm going to go and get my head down. Take care. Love to you all. And as always, look after those beautiful children. See you soon, guys. Thanks for watching.